Coming up on this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we learn about the Steamship Authority's plans for a new office space in Falmouth, hop aboard Sea Education Association's sailing school vessel Corwith Cramer, visit with the Falmouth Farmers Market as they prepare for their second summer at Falmouth Marine Park, and go behind the scenes at Falmouth Fire Rescue to see how firefighters and paramedics are trained. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and welcome to Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm Michael Kasparian. With the onset of summer, Falmouth welcomes thousands of additional motorists on their way to Martha's Vineyard via the Steamship Authority ferries in Woods Hole. We sat down with Steamship Authority General Manager Wayne Lamson to learn more about the logistics involved in managing the influx of island traffic.
It is a big kickoff for us. We have 4 vessels that will be running between Woods Hole and Martha's Vineyard, and 4 vessels between Hyannis and Nantucket. So they'll be full going over. It'll be busy, especially on weekends. But compared to years ago when we had standby, we no longer have vehicles standby in Woods Hole or Hyannis or on the islands. So I can remember working in the accounting department, and when I came in the morning, and back then the building didn't have air conditioning, so the windows would all be open, and you'd hear the people down below and they'd have their radios going. It was almost like a tailgating thing, but when I left at night to go home, those people were still waiting in the standby line. They hadn't moved from where they had been at 8 in the morning. So we decided to go to a different system, reservation-only system, where you need to make a reservation on these peak these travel weekends. And so we carry the same number of vehicles, we provide the same number of spaces, but instead of people having to wait all day to get over, we just tell them that, they make their reservations, and so we're operating up until about 10 o'clock every night. And we're in the middle of reconstructing the Woods Hole terminal here, so we're just getting things back together. We have our temporary terminal building that has been is pretty much completed, and we're in the process of building a new administration office up on Palmer Avenue, and that's going along well, and that should be completed by the end of the year. And then we'll be once we move out of this building, then this building would be demolished, and just about where we're sitting will be slip 3 will be relocated and reconstructed, and about where we're currently sitting. So it's a big project, but we have to each year, like when Memorial Day comes, we have to be able to continue operating with 4 vessels. So.
The Steamship Authority is currently in the process of building new offices at the Palmer Avenue location so they can dedicate the former space in Woods Hole to docking and departing. The Falmouth Fire Rescue Department ensures that all of its new firefighters are thoroughly familiar with all of its apparatus and vehicles through a rigorous training process. In this next piece, we join firefighter and paramedic Jay Elliott as he undergoes his final road training on Falmouth's newest fire truck, Engine 25.
My name's Jay Elliott. I'm the Assistant Master Mechanic at the Falmouth Fire Rescue Department. I work with my boss, John Rose. And part of our function here is that we do a ride check-off with all the new firefighters to make sure that they are familiar with the trucks. And we also take them for driver technique so that they learn basically all the handling characteristics, the do's and the don'ts, to keep them safe and keep the motoring public safe.
My name is Greg Thomas. I'm a firefighter paramedic for Falmouth Fire. I've been with Falmouth Fire for about 6 months. Today I'm going to be going out with the mechanics, doing my driver training, doing my final driver test for with Engine 25 here right behind me.
We will go over the basic functions of the truck, the engineering that goes into the trucks, the engines, transmissions, things like that, so they understand how the truck itself works. It makes it a much better experience for the young firefighters. They've got an awful lot to learn and to take this all in, and when they're, the bell hits and they're going out the door, they have an awful lot to think about. So this is one way that we do this to help them so that they know what they're up against.
Firefighter Thomas has driven all the apparatus. He's ending up here. This is the end of his checkoff for the day. He'll drive the apparatus here. It'll handle very similar to our other two trucks, but there'll be a lot of improvements in the cab.
When driving a fire engine, you have to remember it takes a lot longer to stop, take a lot wider turns. This engine weighs 43,000 pounds. It doesn't stop easy. It's not as responsive as a car. So it takes a lot of getting used to when it comes to driving this, especially on narrow roads, back roads. Some of the roads here in Falmouth are just single lane dirt roads.
Even though it's similar to our last generation of Pierces we bought, it's important that he gets to every vehicle, because every vehicle is a little different. Even though they look the same, NFPA standards change, the options on the truck change, so they really need to get in tune with each truck. And it's a lot to learn, is when the new firefighters get here. All the apparatus are different, and they need to learn. They need to learn how each one's different, because when they need to be able to perform when they get to the fire, and they need to know exactly how each truck works.
One thing that would help a lot is if people would always pull over to the right-hand side of the road when they see us responding, lights and sirens behind them. A lot of times, be amazed at how many people will either just stop, pull over into the center of the road, go into the wrong lane, do all sorts of stuff. If everybody just pulled over to the right-hand side of the lane, that opens up a nice clear path for us to get to where we need to go, and makes getting to where we need to go much quicker and safer for everyone.
The job is to make sure they get the apparatus to the fire safely and return it safely.
Now that firefighters have completed their training, be on the lookout for Engine 25 as it goes to and from the station. Thanks to Jeff Wyman for that piece. On Saturday, June 3rd, Sea Education Association invited the public to come aboard the sailing school vessel Corwith Cramer at Dyer's Dock in Woods Hole. Individuals had a chance to tour the ship, meet the crew, and learn about what happens during sea semester.
Well, this is an exciting day because the sailing school vessel Corwith Cramer is back home after a year away. We've been sailing with students on board, exploring the ocean and doing oceanographic research throughout the North Atlantic. We've been to Ireland, France, Spain, the Canaries, the Caribbean, and the students just brought the ship home this week. And so today we're open so all of our alumni here in town in the Falmouth, Woods Hole, and Cape Cod neighborhoods can come and visit the ship. And it's great to have such a great crowd to welcome us home. The sailing school vessel Corwith Cramer is 30 years old this year. It is about 135 feet overall, and it can sail with a complement of 38 people on board. So there's a professional crew of scientists and sailors, engineers and stewards, and then in addition to that we have students on board, undergraduate or high school students on board that are interested in studying the ocean.
This is our only lab on ship. So basically it's where all of the science happens. We have a lot of instruments on the walls that are always measuring the flow through seawater in the water that the boat is going through, and we also have bottom profilers and current profilers. So basically we're always aware of what's going on in the water around us, so we can decide whether we want to deploy a net or deploy any number of nets that we have. So one of the main things that SEA does is deploy Newstone nets every noon and midnight, and we've been doing that for about 40 years. So there's a pretty big database that SEA maintains, which is used for student projects as well as other researchers. So we always have a lot going on here in lab. I think in my crews we fit about 9 students plus 2 assistant scientists, all doing molecular work at the same time. So definitely we get really close to each other. But there's always a lot going on, and we're always looking at either zooplankton, samples we've collected, water quality, or any number of measures that we are taking, and depending on the trip, we're doing different kinds of science. So
Our programs are primarily for college students. We have semester-long programs where they come down, they spend a couple weeks on our campus in Woods Hole, and after they take some classes and prepare their research here, they meet the ship wherever their voyage starts. So for the ship, that can be anywhere from the North Atlantic to the Caribbean, primarily in the Caribbean, sailing around down there. It's great to have the opportunity to share what we do with the public and give them a little more information. And if anyone's interested, we can stop by our campus at any time in Woods Hole.
From here, the sailing vessel is heading up to Belfast, Maine, where it will receive routine maintenance before it goes out to sea again at the end of the summer. Thanks to Liz Lerner for that report. There's a lot going on at Town Hall these days. Here are some updates from recent municipal meetings chosen based on community impact.
Last Monday night, the Board of Selectmen heard a report from the Golf Advisory Committee. In this report, the committee conveyed the important efforts they and staff are making to the golf course by way of continuing their outreach to the community, training of staff and players, their commitment to preserving the environment, and the work being done to collect data. The board had a few questions for the committee regarding the new irrigation system and what some of the goals are in the next 5 years for the course.
Obviously, the new irrigation system is going to make a huge difference. And then you add sort of bells and whistles. Right now, I'm working with Jim Grady from the DPW. We're putting in new post and rail fences on Old Barnstable Road, where they just redid that whole road. And this is sort of one of the finishing touches. So we're always trying to improve the fences and some of the safety features and things like that.
I just wanted to acknowledge what an extraordinary partnership the town has enjoyed with Billy Casper Golf. We've been very fortunate to have such a talented group of individuals managing operations and working on the town's behalf in this partnership. So I just want to acknowledge that formally and thank them again in this forum.
The Historical Commission presented to the Selectmen a potential contract that would allow it to partner with the Cape Cod Commission. Representatives outlined the potential benefits of such a relationship and relayed ideas for mapping historical properties, expanding access to historical districts, and improving village character. The presentation focused mainly on the Woods Hole corridor and village for future improvements. The Selectmen voted in favor to approve this contract and agreed that this work should be used as a template for improvements to other historic districts in town.
We are working cooperatively with the planning board. So we did bring them into this process. We've given some of them tours of the area, helped them to understand why we need this, sort of extra assistance from the Cape Cod Commission. I really think it's going to be very helpful.
The Selectmen also interviewed many individuals who applied to fill vacancies on several town committees and commissions. The Selectmen heard from incumbent applicants for the regulatory boards of Conservation Commission and Historical Commission, and one non-regulatory incumbent for the Waterways Committee. Several new applicants were interviewed for other committees, such as Commission on Disabilities, Affirmative Action, and Recreation Committee.
So I move that we appoint Joanne Treisman, term ending June 30th, 2020, to the Affirmative Action Committee, and Pamela Harting-Barat, term ending June 30th, 2020, the Affordable Housing Committee. Jane Vos, Jennifer Christian, and Stanwood Ingram, term ending June 30th, 2020, the Agricultural Commission. To the Beach Committee, Charles Loy Godus and Paul Muskowski, term ending June 30th, 2020.
Anyone second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
To see the meetings in their entirety, please visit FCTV's website at fctv.org to view the programming schedule. In this episode's calendar segment, we have a handful of events to highlight. Wednesday, June 14th, is the season home opener for our Falmouth Commodores Cape Cod Baseball League team. During the evening, the team will salute the Falmouth High School football team for their state championship. For more information and a full schedule, visit falmouthcommodores.com. Arts Alive brings artists, musicians, and craftspeople to downtown Falmouth for the weekend of June 16th through June 18th. 60 performances of music, theater, and dance take place on the library lawn. For more information, visit artsfalmouth.org. On Saturday, June 17th, the Falmouth Strawberry Festival takes place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at St. Barnabas Church on Main Street. The festival features a variety of locally made food for sale, including strawberry shortcake and lobster rolls. The festival also features arts and crafts vendors, home baked goods, a plant sale, face painting, dunk tank, games for children, and more. On Saturday, June 24th, from 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., celebrate A Midsummer Night's Dream at historic Highfield Hall. The festivities include cocktails in the Fairy Garden, a starlit enchanted forest tent with a magician, games, music, and more. And throughout June, check out Fire and Light, a blown glass jewelry and stunning photography show by Don Parkinson at the Mazer Gallery here at FCTV. Right now, we're going to take a break to learn about an adoptable cat from People for Cats. And when we come back, we'll take a look at Team Maureen's Run for Your Life event, the Falmouth Preservation Expo at Museums on the Green, a special art exhibit featuring lighthouses, and more. Stay with us.
Maisie is an adorable tuxedo domestic short-hair female. This little 1.5-year-old sports a gleaming black fur coat accented by bright white on her face, bib, tummy, and paws. She also has luxuriously long white whiskers and big, expressive, amber-colored eyes. Maisie absolutely loves all the attention she can get. She's very friendly, headbutting and purring up a storm to encourage you to give her more love. Maisie came to PFC when her owner could no longer care for her. She has since been spayed and is now looking for her forever home. Why not come in and meet cute little Maisie and see if she can help complete your family?
Welcome back. On May 20th, dozens of runners braved wet and chilly weather to raise awareness of cervical cancer and the HPV vaccine that can help prevent it. It was the 5th annual Run for Your Life event. We talked with Eileen Duffy Lind, the founder of Team Maureen, sponsor of the event.
Another Run for Your Life year. We're super excited to be doing it again. Thanks to all you wonderful friends and family and supporters of Team Maureen. Thank you for coming out. It is a little chilly, but I hear as a runner, if you're a true runner, which I am not, that this is a good running weather.
So what we like to think of our race a little bit different than all running races is that we always have an expo, which has information. It's supported by Cape Cod Healthcare, which we're very thankful for. And what we do is we have materials of all essentially women's cancers, and it essentially ranges from our specialty, cervical cancer, but it also have other gynecological cancers such as ovarian. We have breast cancer. We have Cape Cod Healthcare here talking about their breast centers and genetic testing and high-risk information, and then we have other vendors that have themselves been affected by cancer or are carriers of BRCA1 and 2, which are breast cancer genes. I think every parent's making the decision that's best for their child, but I think knowing the correct information, not the Facebook version or whatever, it's really important to get the information. And so that's my biggest thing. Even if you choose not to vaccinate, you need to have the right information to make those decisions, and that's what our organization and working with Cape Cod Healthcare and Dana-Farber, we just want to make sure the information is correct and that you can make the best decision. But I think with education and more information, so because head and neck cancer is on the rise 225% since the 80s, that I think people are realizing it's affecting men more as well. And so I think when it hits both populations, people hear it a little more, especially, the men, not just the women. And we know that this vaccine, that about 70 to 80% of those head and neck cancers are related to this virus, and there's something we can do about it. And essentially with cervical cancer, almost all of them are related to HPV. So if we have a vaccine that prevents more than 70% to 90% of cervical cancers and 70% of head and neck cancers, that kind of makes sense. It's actually one of those things that I get excited about because there's actually something we know that causes the cancer and we can do something about it. I think the race in itself is just a day to reflect and be on the women we have lost and their strength and fight. And so I just hope that by education, or you come and you learn one thing either at our race or at any of our awareness events, that we hope to make a difference so no one loses another mother, sister, or aunt, or grandmother, or whoever. So I hope that's we're doing our job if we can save at least one person.
For more information, visit teammaureen.org. Thanks to Alan Russell for that piece. Next, I had the pleasure of taking part in the first Falmouth Preservation Expo at Museums on the Green this past May 20th. The expo is an opportunity to meet local specialists who can help renovate and restore an old or historic home. This event was organized by the Falmouth Preservation Alliance, and we spoke with their president, Barbara Wayand.
We got the idea of trying to present small local companies that have products or services, professional services, that would help homeowners to maintain or restore their homes. They don't have to be high-value historic homes. It can just be an old home that's in need of an update. But our idea is to get people, especially because it's spring, and we all think about updating and cleaning out basements. That's why we have collectibles and antiques here. So our goal here was to provide a showcase for local businesses to show things they do or things they sell that would help homeowners right across the town. We have 10 nonprofits here, and these are organizations that we have partnered with on a variety of projects. We call them like-minded organizations, and by that we mean organizations that are involved in some way, shape, or form with preservation or conservation. And so you'll see 10 of those spread across the campus as well, and inside. And then we have Michael Kasparian, who's the CEO of the Chamber. He's a certified antiques appraiser, so he's helping people to figure out whether they've got treasures. Our general mission is to help preserve the historic character of Falmouth through education, action, and advocacy. So those are our three operative words. And to date, because we're only 2.5 years old, we're nevertheless proud that we've already produced our second product. And these heritage maps eventually will cover all of the town. We have 8 villages, so our goal is to represent and celebrate the heritage that each of these areas has. So we've produced one for the Falmouth Village itself, and now this heritage map is Woods Hole and Quissit together. This is our first event. There's no sales pressure here. It's all about Q&A and learning, how to do something better for your home.
Since we covered this event, the heritage maps for Woods Hole and Quissit have become available. Thanks to Alan Russell for this piece. The Falmouth Farmers Market is open again for their 3rd season at Marine Park on Scranton Avenue. We stopped by to find out what's new this year.
So this year we have some great new lunch or dinner options. We have Wolf Pizza, who makes great pizza, and it's with market ingredients, so sort of specialized pizza. They also have pizza dough that you can bring home.
My name is Noel Shumway. I own and operate Wolf Pizza with my friend Dave. We met in culinary school. We've been working in fine dining for the last 5 years, and wanted to make the jump into comfort food. And here we are. We leapt into pizza and have been open for about 2 weeks now. We're really excited to show off to the world what we have going on.
Some of these on delicious.
Yeah, so we have a very limited menu. We have 3 staple items, and then we'll do a special, especially here at the Farmers Market. We're hoping to pair with a vendor each week and do a special from that farm. We also sell pizza dough, so when you're coming to the market and maybe you don't want pizza right now, but you could pick up some dough and pick up some vegetables from a farmer, and you can go home and make your own pizza.
Every other week we have Donde Thiago, who makes Colombian arepas, which are delicious. We have some new vendors also that include Green Goddess Herbals, who does soaps and body lotions, as well as bug sprays and all sorts of neat things from their goat farm, so, using goat milk.
We also have the Organic Nut, who are making smoothie bowls, which will be very useful in the heat of July. Some vegan baked goods and fresh squeezed juices. So,
We are the Organic Nut. I'm Alana.
And I'm Lauren. We've always kind of like thought of opening a cafe together or like some kind of a restaurant. So, and we're both really interested in the vegan food and vegan lifestyle. So we just decided this would be a good first step, and we kind of want to see what people think about it and yeah, see how it goes over.
We hope that the market provides another space for people to come together and bump into each other in a friendly way and see someone who they might not have seen in weeks or months or since last year at the market, and do that while they're getting their vegetables and getting something to eat and supporting the local economy and our local farmers.
In addition to the new offerings this year, the Falmouth Farmers Market still has its popular cider donuts, fruit and vegetable stands, and a variety of specialty items. The market is open from noon to 6 p.m. every Thursday until October. Thanks to Liz Lerner for that piece. Up next, a new feature on Falmouth in Focus from Cape Cod Healthcare. In this episode, we spend the day with visiting nurse Andrea Fichter to find out more about what it's like to be a nurse or a patient with home care services.
I'm Andrea Fichter. I'm a case manager with the VNA of Cape Cod. I've been with the VNA since October 2014. I grew up in a house, like a multi-generational house when I was 10 years old. My grandparents moved in with us. We turned our garage into like a little one-bedroom apartment for Mama and Papa. And my grandfather had Alzheimer's disease, and my grandmother was not going to put him in a nursing home. The local visiting nurses really helped keep him in the home, and he died in our home, and so did she. So that's why I always wanted to be a visiting nurse, so that I can help people stay in their home and not be separated from their loved ones. I will call all of my patients, and I'll get in my car, and I'm already in my car if I've just dropped my kids off at the bus, and I'll go back to the office if I need supplies. If not, I'll go to my first visit and start my day. It's multitasking. You have to pay attention to the road, you have to know where you're going, you have to answer doctor's calls, you have to maybe you can't, you need to find a place to pull over to do work. And supplies, it's difficult. At a hospital you can just go to the supply cabinet and voila, there it is. Sometimes we're like the master improvisers. GPS is our friend, we always have to know where the clean bathrooms are. We have to just kind of park on the side. All right. The call center called me. They're leaving a message. We'll check that later. Hello. It's the visiting nurses. There he is. What'd you do? Bar fight?
I lost.
You lost? I haven't seen you since the 15th.
Last week?
Seems so long ago.
Yeah.
It's their home. They don't have to. That anybody can refuse. It's a privilege. You get to know these people. You can really help them in less of like a clinical setting, like the hospital. It's more like you really see what's going on, and you can really see how you can make a difference.
That was the first thing I learned. Yeah.
And all of my fabulous teaching, don't forget. Well, we can go in there and say, well, it might be these peanuts that you're eating every day. Or, you didn't realize that this can of vegetable soup you think is so fabulous for you has, 2,000 milligrams of sodium in it, and your heart can't pump enough to get rid of that fluid, and you're back in the hospital. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
For your kindness.
Thank you.
And you're going to watch for any warmth, redness, funny looking drainage there.
Yeah, I am. Well, they told me what to do.
Yes. All right.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
See you next week.
I will.
I've had patients say to me, if it wasn't for you, I just know I would be in a nursing home. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
Thanks to Cape Cod Health News for providing us with that piece. In the coming episodes ahead, we'll be bringing you more helpful tips and valuable health information from Cape Cod Healthcare. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll learn all about a unique art exhibit coming to Falmouth.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Speck, a resident of Falmouth and Development Associate at Community Health Center of Cape Cod. We are a federally qualified health center that provides access to primary care, dental care, behavioral health, optometry, and pharmacy to more than 15,000 patients, regardless of ability to pay. We have offices in Falmouth, Mashpee, and Bourne. We're proud to now celebrate 20 years of growth and success. We've come a long way since the Falmouth Free Clinic opened its doors in 1998. I hope you join us for a year-long celebration of our 20th anniversary at a number of events and fundraisers. Our kickoff event is the Summer Solstice Celebration, Thursday, June 22nd from 6 to 9 p.m. at Community Health Center of Cape Cod in Mashpee. We'll have small bites and spirits, local entertainment, desserts, coffee, and raffle baskets. Other 20th events include a golf tournament on September 25th, a family fun day on October 21st, and our culminating event, the 20th Anniversary Gala in June of 2018. To learn more about these events and Community Health Center of Cape Cod, please call our development office at 508-477-5990 or visit us online at chcofcapecod.org. Hope to see you soon, and thanks.
To celebrate its first anniversary of stewardship of the historic Nopska Lighthouse, Friends of Nopska Light organized a traveling art exhibit called Beacons of Light. Each piece was created in the shape of a lighthouse by a local artist, capturing his or her own aesthetic.
I am Barbara Meisner. I'm a board member and the chairman of the development committee of the Friends of Nopska Light. This organization was created a number of years ago to help to preserve and restore the lighthouse as well as the Keeper's House, which is where we are at the moment. The event that we have planned for this coming summer is the Beacons of Light traveling exhibit, which was created so that we could raise awareness in the entire community and hopefully successfully and more efficiently fundraise during the years ahead. This exhibit will be 30 different wooden lighthouses decorated by artists from the Artists Guild and actually general members of the community. The ages range from age 12 to 95. We were very happy to have even some of the residents of the town offer to decorate these wonderful little lighthouses. It was a challenge for artists to create these because almost everyone is accustomed to painting a canvas. And this was a challenge because they had to condense their creativity into a very small 20-inch little board and try to make it relevant to what we're doing. So the enthusiasm among all the artists were really great. Our opening reception is on Saturday, June 10th, here at the Keeper's House. Each of the rooms in the Keeper's House, which has never been open before to the public, will have other informational parts to this exhibit. I have been traveling throughout the community, handing out posters. We have sponsors for this exhibit. We have all the artists. So my contact with the community has been extensive. I find that people in the community absolutely adore this property and adore the lighthouse itself. And along with it, the property will be transformed in the future. And everybody is very excited to hear about what the future will be for the lighthouse.
Beacons of Light can be seen at various locations in Falmouth throughout the summer. For a schedule of locations, visit their website, friendsofnobska.org. Here at FCTV, we want you to know that television can be as easy as hitting record on your smartphone. We'd like to invite all Falmouth residents and visitors to share their slice of life with us. Email us your photos or videos, or upload them to Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and use the hashtag MyFalmouth and Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We leave you now with the sights and sounds of the Woods Hole May Festival. Thanks for watching Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.